So our first challenge word is taboo. Taboo means something that is not acceptable to say, mention, or do. So in small talk, especially with people you don't know very well, there are certain topics that are called taboo. So for example, in the United States, we would not have a conversation with someone about their job and ask them, how much do you make a year? Just curious. That's not something that is appropriate to talk about, so that's called taboo. Our second challenge word today is commonality. Commonality is a similar feature or attribute. You may have heard the phrase to have something in common, okay? In common is part of the word commonality. So the objective of small talk, or your goal in small talk, is to find commonalities with people. That's what keeps the conversation going. Our third challenge word is dominate. This is not a very good word in small talk. This means to be the most important or noticeable person. So if you are dominating the conversation, that means that you're talking about yourself a lot and you're not giving the other person an opportunity to talk about themselves. So we want to avoid dominating the conversation. Aspirations. Everyone say aspirations. Very good. Aspirations are a hope of achieving something, okay? And we'll get to this a little bit later. We're going to talk about dreams. Another word for dreams is aspirations. And then our last challenge word is hobbies. Hobbies is a word that you may or may not already know. A hobby is an activity done for enjoyment, usually in a person's free time. So some of my hobbies are I like to knit, I like to run, I like to do those kinds of things to just relax when I have some free time, if that ever happens. Okay, so these are our challenge words. I would love to hear you using these words today as you are making small talk with your partners. So the next thing that we are going to do is we're going to move on to how do we make small talk? And we're going to use a model called the Ford model. So I'm going to show you what that is. Okay, the Ford model of conversation is what we call an acronym. So the first letter of each word spells the word Ford, okay? So let's go over those really quickly. The F in Ford stands for family. The O stands for occupation. The R stands for recreation. And the D stands for dreams. So together we have F-O-R-D. This is the Ford model of making small talk. Now this is not something that all people know and all people use. This is just something that we're using today to learn how to help ourselves make better small talk. Okay? And this is not the only thing that you are allowed to talk about in small talk. This is just a way to help you, especially if you're uncomfortable with people you don't really know. This is a really good starting point for making conversation with people. Okay, so let's think. What's a question that you would ask someone about their family? Maybe let's first talk about people you don't know very well. What is a question you would ask them about their family? Okay, good. Do you have any siblings? Siblings, anyone? Brothers or sisters? Very good. Do you have any siblings? Do you have any kids? Okay, good. What about the rest of their family? Where does your family live? Great. Where does your family live? Okay, and since I totally missed one of the most important parts about small talk, what exactly is it? It's a conversation that we have with somebody, but it's not a serious conversation. It's a very casual conversation. We ask things that are simple and easy to talk about and not very serious. And again, not taboo. We just want to ask them very simple questions, okay? So that's very important to remember about small talk, and I'm sorry I didn't say that before. So when we're talking about family, we're not going to ask people their entire family history, okay? That's a lot for small talk. We're just going to ask them simple questions about their family that might then make you think of things about your own family that you can share with them, okay? Second, occupation. What is occupation a long word for? Job. Very good. Okay, so what can you ask someone about their job? What can you ask somebody that you don't know about their job? Very easy. Okay, we would not ask, what is your job? You might, but that's not typically how Americans converse with each other. One of the most common questions that people ask each other about their job is, what do you do for a living? How many of you have heard that before? Good. What do you do for a living? Okay, great. Do you like your job? That's a very good question. Do you like your job? I love my job. Okay, what about somebody that you do know? Let's say you're having small talk with a coworker. You already know their job. You probably know whether or not they like their job. What's a question you can ask them then about their occupation? Okay, good. Where did you work before here? Or where did you work previously? Everyone say previously. Very good. Where did you work before you worked here or previously? Excellent. Okay, let's move on to recreation. Does anybody know this word, recreation? Good. It means, what do you do for fun? What is something fun that you like to do? Remember we talked about that challenge word, hobbies? This is where that comes in. Okay, so I'm going to give you the first question. What are your hobbies? Okay. Or another way that people typically ask each other that in small talk is, what do you do for fun? Okay. What do you do for fun? How about movies? Does anyone like to go and see movies? You can ask someone, hey, did you see that new movie? Blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to write that one down. But you can ask people about easy, fun things like that. What do you like to do for fun? Did you see that movie? Have you been to this new restaurant? Okay, those are all recreation. What do you do for fun? And then our last one is dreams. Okay, so this is not talking about when you go to sleep at night and you think about maybe something strange and you wake up, that's a dream. That's not the kind of dream we're talking about. We're talking about our challenge word, which was aspirations. Those are goals. Those are something that you hope to achieve. Okay, and this might get a little bit more serious than small talk typically is, but this is a good small talk conversation. Like if you're at a family party and you know somebody who is in college, let's use that example. What's something you might ask them for small talk about their dreams or goals? Good. What's your major, or what are you studying in college? What's your major? I know a lot of people who are graduating right now, and one of the questions that I have been asking people a lot is, what are your plans after graduation? Okay, so what are your plans after graduation? Okay, so again, this is the Ford model, F-O-R-D, and we're going to do some practice with this with each other. So let's remember, small talk is with people that we know or don't know very well. Any time of day, small talk is acceptable. We have it in lots of different places, places that we're familiar or places that we're not so familiar or we've never even been. And we have small talk for many reasons. Maybe we're bored, maybe we're trying to be nice to people, maybe we're trying to get to know someone better. Okay, so let's remember these things as we practice the Ford model of small talk today.